Today, let us start a new lesson, that is dynamics of a charged particle. Now, what does dynamics of a charged particle mean? In the previous year, you may have learnt about stationary particles in electric or magnetic field. How do they behave in electric and magnetic field? But those particles, charged particles, were stationary, either positive charge or negative charge. Now, in this chapter, we are going to look at what happens to a charged particle which is moving with a constant velocity in electric field or magnetic field. So, first we are going to learn about a charged particle which is going to move in electric field. A moving charged particle enters a electric field, and then we are going to study what happens to the motion of a charged particle when it enters in a magnetic field. But we are talking about only uniform motion, that is a motion with constant velocity. So, what does dynamics of charged particle mean? It means what is the effect of uniform magnetic field or electric field on motion, that is also uniform motion of charged particle. So here the magnetic field is also uniform, means the force due to that magnetic field or the force due to the electric field is same with respect to position. It is same at all the positions. And the charged particles that we are talking about are the charged particles, as we know, are either positively charged or negatively charged. So now let us try to understand this. We will begin with the effect of electric field on a charged particle, moving charged particle. Now before we do that, first we will try to understand the situation by taking an example. You all must have studied what happens to an object which is thrown upwards or downwards in a magnetic field. Sorry, not magnetic field, in gravitational field, in the force due to gravity, when we throw an object up or we throw an object down. Suppose I represent the gravitational field with these green lines. I have spaced them, I have tried to space them at equal distance, because I want to show that gravitational field, that is the acceleration due to gravity, is same at all the points. So these lines are equally spaced and they are directing downwards because the force is in downward direction. Now if I throw the ball up, then what is going to happen is the force is going to be downwards. The gravitational force will be downwards, and as it goes up, its velocity is going to decrease until it becomes zero. Then it is going to start coming down. Whereas if I throw a ball down in downward direction, its velocity will go on increasing. And we have also learnt which equations are applicable to this type of motion. The equations are V is equal to U plus GT. Here I have not taken negative sign for the G. That is because the sign of G will depend on whether you are throwing it upwards or whether you are throwing it downwards. If U and G are in same direction, if U and G are in the same direction, they will have positive, G will have positive sign. Whereas U and G, if they are in opposite direction, then G we will take negative. That is because when u and g are negative, that means you are throwing the ball up and g is downwards, then velocity will decrease, g will be negative. Whereas when you throw it down, u is also in the same direction as that of g, the velocity will increase. So we can take the sign of g later. Second, this equation is for the final velocity. We can also find displacement of the object by using this equation, as we know is ut plus 1/2 gt square. And one more equation we have learned is v square minus u square is equal to 2gs. These are the equations for gravitational field, and we know how to derive them. Now, the situation with electric field is also similar. Let us look at the electric field. Now, we want a field which is uniform. To create such a field, we will require two plates, a plate on which positive charges are there and a plate on which only negative charges are there. The space between them, in the space between them, the electric field will be uniform. And as we know that the electric field will be directed from the positive plate towards the negative plate. This is the direction of electric field. Now, similar to gravitational field, things are going to happen similar to gravitational field. What is the difference here? Here we have two types of charges, and the forces on them will depend on the nature of the charge. Whereas in gravitational field, there was only one direction of the force, that is downwards. Whereas here, if we have a positive charge, then the force on the positive charge will be in the direction of the field. This will be the force, electric force on that charge. But if we have a negative charge, the force on the negative charge will be in opposite direction of the field, that is upwards. If the field is downwards, the force will be in upward direction. So we have to take into consideration, or we have to know which charge we are talking about, whether it is positive charge or negative charge. Now, if we consider this thing, then the situation is exactly same as that of gravitational force. Let us suppose it is a positive charge. If we have a positive charge, we know that the electric force is given by this equation E into Q, because electric field, as we know, is force divided by charge, and so the force will be equal to electric field into charge. Now the arrows indicate that force as well as electric field are vector quantities. So we can find out the acceleration. We know force is equal to mass into acceleration, which is equal to E into Q, and acceleration will be equal to E into Q divided by M. Now this acceleration is also constant, because E, as we know, is constant, electric field is constant, the charge on the particle will be constant, the mass of that particle will be also constant. So as a result, A will be constant. Now if A is constant, then it is the same situation as that of gravitational field, and we can apply the same equations. Which equations? V is equal to U plus AT, second is S is equal to UT plus 1/2 AT square, and third is V square minus U square is equal to 2AS. What change we will have to do is we will have to substitute A, as we did for gravitational field. Here in place of A, what we can write is U plus, here we know A is EQ divided by M, so we will replace that quantity. EQ divided by M into T. This will be first equation. Second equation, S is equal to UT plus 1 half at, that means eq by m into t, whereas v square minus u square will be equal to 2 eq by m into s. Now the acceleration, whether it is positive or negative, will depend on the charge. If the charge is positive, the acceleration will be in same direction as that of the force or the electric field, whereas if it is negative charge, then the acceleration will be in opposite direction. Also, we have to take into consideration what is the direction of initial velocity, because the charge will be initially moving in this field. Now let us try to understand how to derive these equations. So we already know these equations. Now let us see how we to derive these equations. So let us move to the derivation of these equations. So we'll again start with acceleration. As we know, we have derived equation for acceleration by using force is equal to eq by m, and force is mass into acceleration, which will give us eq by m. Acceleration will be, here we will not have eq by m, we will have eq, and then we can write eq divided by m. Now what we will do to derive these equations is, acceleration we know is dv by dt is equal to eq divided by m, and dv is equal to eq by m into dt. The same way we have derived equations of motions. Now what we will have to do to this equation is integrate on both sides. We will get an equation for velocity. So integrating on both sides, dv is equal to this eq by m will be constant, so it will be outside the integral into dt. Now here we will get integration of dv, will get v from initial velocity to final velocity, and here we will get integration of dt is t plus c. Or what we can do here, instead of putting this limit, we can integrate this without limits. Without taking the limits, integration of dv will be just v, and we will have eq by m, integration of dt will be t, and we will get a constant of integration, where c is constant of integration, and its value can be easily obtained by finding the velocity at the start. At the start means t will be equal to 0 and v will be equal to u, that means v will be the initial velocity. If we put t is equal to 0 in this equation, let us call it 1. So substituting t is equal to 0 in equation 1, we are trying to obtain value of c. Then we will have u instead of v, now u, because it is the initial velocity, eq by m into t will become 0, and we will have plus c. That means this c is nothing but initial velocity. So let us substitute this value. Substituting c is equal to u in equation 1, we will get v is equal to eq by m into t plus u. So we get the first equation. Let us call it equation number 3. This is equation for the final velocity. It is the same as we get for equations of motion. Now we will try to obtain an equation for displacement. Again the method is same. What we will do is, we know that this dv is dx by dt, which will be eq by m into t plus u. Will multiply dt on the both sides. Here we will get dx eq by m t dt plus u into dt. We have multiplied dt on both the sides. So now what we need to do is integrate this equation. Integrating above equation. So it will be integration of dx is equal to eq by m, again is constant. We will get t dt, integration of t into dt plus u, initial velocity will be constant, and integration of dt. So here we will get x is equal to eq by m, integration of t dt will be t square divided by 2, t square divided by 2 plus u into t, again we will have constant of integration. Let us call it c1. So here c1 is constant of integration, as we have not taken any limits for this integration. And to find this, let us call this equation number 4. To find the value of c1, what we will have to do is, we will have to substitute t is equal to 0 in equation number 4. So if we substitute t is equal to 0, this whole term will become 0 plus ut will also become 0. We will get plus c1. Now when time is equal to 0, x will be actually x0, because time is equal to 0, the object is at initial position. So x0 is the initial position. Now let us substitute this x0. Substituting c1 is equal to x0 in equation number 4. So we'll have x is equal to, let us see equation number 4 is, we will write x0 first plus ut plus eq by m into t square. So this will be the equation for displacement. As you can see, if we bring this x0 on the other side, we will have x minus x0, that is displacement, which will be equal to ut plus eq by m, that is acceleration. Here I forgot 2 t square by 2. So that will be equation for the displacement. It is the same equation as we have obtained. Now as you can see in the third equation, let us call this equation number 5, this one, and this equation number 6. Now equation number 5 can be also represented in a diagrammatical form. As you see, x0 is a vector, u is vector, and this electric field is also a vector. So we can represent, or we can represent this as addition of vectors. let us say x0 is this position vector, and when we add to this position vector the second component, which is the second component ut, then we will get a resultant, and when we add that resultant to this third component here eq by m, then we will get the resultant velocity eq by m into t square by 2. We will get the resultant, that is x, resultant position, that is also a vector. So see, first and the second vector are joined head to tail, we will get the third vector here, or you can combine second and third vector, again you will get the same result. If you see the resultant position vector, it is joined from the first vector to the last vector. It is joined from first vector to the last vector. Any sequence you take the first and the second, you will get this vector. You add this vector and this vector, again you are going to get the final position vector. Or you can add second and third vector, this you will get resultant, which is here, and if you add the first one with it, again you will get the last position vector. So any way you do it, you are going to get the final position vector. So that equation can be represented, equation number 5. This is diagrammatical or representation of equation number 5, or we can say a vector diagram. Let us call it vector diagram. Representation of vector of equation number 5. So as we see, we get the same equations that I showed you, we get for gravitational field. So this is not a new concept that we are going to learn. It is the same as an object that is thrown in gravitational field. So in the next class, what we will try to learn is what will happen. Now we have just seen what happens if we throw the object in the direction or against the direction of the force. It may be a gravitational force or electric force. Now what happens if we throw the object perpendicular to the direction of the force? As you see in the diagram, if I throw it perpendicular, as we have learned, this object will go in a parabolical path. Same thing will also happen to a charge. If a charge is moved, let us say this charge, positive charge, if it is moving in a perpendicular direction like this, then it will also go in a parabolical path. And again we will try to derive equations for this parabolical path. Thank you.